video is about subtracting rational expressions. There will be two examples. The first one is x minus 2 over 2 minus x minus 1 over x minus 5. Since both rational expressions, first rational expression and the second rational expression, are both in factored form, there is no factoring that needs to be done. So I'm going to start then by getting a common denominator. The common denominator has to have a 2 as a factor and an x minus 5 as a factor. So in the second expression, I have an x minus 5, but I don't have a 2. So I'm going to multiply by the giant 1 of 2 over 2. In the first expression, I have a factor of 2, but no x minus 5. So I'm going to take and multiply by x minus 5 over x minus 5. That's going to be my giant 1. That gives us, in my denominator, 2 times x minus 5. My numerator, if I take x minus 5 times x minus 2, and you can use your diamonds and rectangles, that comes out to be x squared minus 7x plus 10. Now I have to subtract from that. I'm going to distribute here 2x minus 2. So my denominator hasn't changed. For my numerator, I now have this x squared minus 7x plus 10. And I have to subtract my 2x minus 2. So that's going to be minus 2x. And now I have to minus a minus 2. So that's going to be plus 2. Leaving me 2 times x minus 5 in my denominator. And now my numerator takes on this look of x squared minus 9x plus 12. Again, you can use your squares and diamonds. You can try using your rectangles and diamonds to factor the numerator, but it doesn't factor. You're left with x squared minus 9x plus 12 over 2 times x minus 5 and x cannot equal 5 in our denominator. For example 2, let's start out by factoring. So I have a negative 2x over, this is going to be x minus 3 times x minus 1 minus x plus 2 x minus 1. Now, again, in my denominator, my least common denominator is going to be x minus 3 times x minus 1. I have that in my first fraction, but I don't have that in my second fraction. So I need to multiply by a giant 1 of x minus 3 over x minus 3. So I now have a common denominator of x minus 3 times x minus 1. My numerator, I have a negative 2x minus, use your squares to multiply x plus 2 times x minus 3, you're going to get x squared minus x minus 6. Now I'm going to have to, in my numerator, take a negative 2x and subtract each of those terms. So it's going to be minus an x squared plus x plus 6. My denominator is x minus 3 times x minus 1. Take the numerator, simplify it. I have a negative x squared minus x plus 6 all over x minus 3 times x minus 1. Now try factoring your numerator. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove a negative 1 so that my lead term is a positive, has a positive coefficient. So that leaves me with x squared plus x minus 6 over x minus 3 times x minus 1. Using your squares and diamonds, this is going to factor into x minus 2 times x plus 3 over x minus 3